documentary called American History.
Yeah.
And in American history, it is so like cutesy-fied. It's the gaslighting is crazy, but it's so sugar coated that it's ridiculous. It makes it seem like everybody was just on this kumbaya mission to unify the world, and America was just trying to do the right thing by bringing people together.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like what?
Right. I see what you're saying. But you can't, like I said, you can't get caught up into it. You look at it, you pay attention to some of the things that you already know about, you match them up. But it is telling you in that show that she is who she is. That whole show is surrounded by her. If you can remember the show, you remember her being the superior and swallowing swallowing her creation. Yep, that's what I'm telling you. So you got to pick out what you need in it. Yeah, pick out the truth. Exactly. You gotta, exactly. So you got to pick out the truth and then get rid of the other. It's like eat the meat and throw away the bone. So yeah, that's how it worked. What's up, coach? What's going on? Barisi, I'm finna get into the build. I'm on both things, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna see what's happening, man. So y'all, all right, bet. Y'all chill. You know what I'm saying? I got y'all in the room. You know what I mean? Black woman is God. At the end of the day, we about to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some people that come up in the thing, gonna go back and forth. What's up with y'all? Everybody good up in here? I appreciate y'all for gifting. Thank y'all. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you, Sharp. You know what I'm saying? If y'all in the room, let's run it up. Y'all already know how we do over here. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it, get into the move. But we got a nice little thing going on. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna listen to different perspectives. Y'all gonna be able to sit back and hear certain things. I want y'all to sit back and listen. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been through some of this before. All of y'all know everything. You know what I'm saying? The people over here, all of y'all know everything. Y'all to be over here with me, y'all already know what's good. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know how we rock. Y'all already know what we know. So we're going to get into a nice little back and forth, a nice little exchange. It's going to be people that's going to disagree, but that's what you need. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, Blue Energy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He tried to make a mockery out of me, and you know me, Blue Energy. I'm not really the type to mock. You know what I mean? When I come with my material, it's serious. People be thinking a person has to make it up or pander to a woman. You don't have to pander to a woman. All you got to do is be truthful to man and woman, and everything will work itself out. The only thing is when you hide from that truth because you want to identify as something that you think that you are based off of a program, then that's where it goes left. You see what I'm saying? Based off of a program, that's where it goes left. And that's where we at. You see a lot of men doing the same thing. I'm not like those men. I am an individual. I am unique. I don't think the same way as them. I look at the whole thing and then I actually come back and I tell you what I see. That's all. People don't like what to hear after they see what I see. But what I see is there's no deity higher than that BLK woman, that black woman. There's no deity higher. And even when you go and put it in, what was the first deity? It speaks about a Sumerian goddess. It speaks about a Mesopotamian goddess. What is her name? Inanna or Ishtar. And Easter is her day that we celebrate. Why do you think that we celebrate fertility and the rabbit on Easter, everyone? Because we're giving homage to her ability to continue to create life. How is she not the creator? Can anybody in this room explain to me how she is not the creator? See, you got a lot of men that always have something to say, but they say it out of ignorance, and they get very frustrated when a man is bringing truth to the table. Some men get jealous because they were unable to do it first, and their pride gets in the way to the point where they want to actually join other man's energy to play some type of gang-like, game with everybody else. They gang up, just be real, just be honest. You don't have to gang up on people. You don't have to jump on people. You should be able to stand in the pit by yourself if it's truth. You shouldn't have to need 50 people to have your back if it's truth. You should be able to go in there as a little light and then burn the darkness away with your actual information. How do you sit there and go against facts? How do you sit there and debate truth? How do you sit there and literally just disregard things that can be proven? How do you sit there and do it? It doesn't make any sense to me. How can you sit there and disregard things that are proven? This is what gets me. How you doing? How you doing?
Hey,
Hey,
I was just on the other live with you, and I completely agreed with what you and Io was saying.
okay,
Um, I know that's where this is stemming from. I don't know how you popped up on my For You page, but I'm glad you did.
right.
Um, I completely agree. They were going against the grain, trying to gang up, um, saying that she was being biased, and
Mhm.
it's purely facts. So I agreed with everything that you said, and I wanted you to just come up and say that. But I'll stay on the panel and I will give my input to the prompt. But I completely agree with everything you guys are stating.
No problem. And I just I want you to understand that I'm a man. I came from a BLK woman. I'm a man, and
Absolutely.
I've reached that place of adult maturity to understand what a man is, and it's to the point where you have to recognize everything that's in place to to get a man to act like a woman. And when you see the behavior of the complaining and nagging, and then they try to act like it's expression, that is what really gets me. It's kind of like you only complain when you don't understand something. You know, you get frustrated. So
Right.
when you don't understand something, you begin to complain about what you don't understand. But if they would take more time into understanding, then they would no longer need to complain. I wrote a book called The Black Woman is God. I wrote the book. So nobody can really go against me in regards to it because you're going against your mother. So nobody can really go against me in regards to it because you're going against your mother. It's a catch 22. If you don't agree with me, then you don't agree with your mother. And if you don't agree with your mother, then you're very unappreciative and ungrateful for the lives of ups and downs that you have been given. We've been given joy from our mothers, even though that it comes with pain. We've been given love from our mothers, even though that it comes with hate. We've been given everything. So we only focus on the bad things and then we blame the people when things are going bad in our lives. But when we're doing good, when everything is going well, we're not blaming anybody. We're living in joy. So a lot of these men live in poverty. And this is why they're complaining because they can't take responsibility for their own actions and decisions. So they live in poverty and they point the finger at the woman. They want to blame her for the reasons that they messed up. They want to blame her for why they didn't go to school and graduate. They want to blame her for why they didn't do their homework. They want to blame her for why they didn't get that job. They want to blame her because they
Hmm.
can't blame themselves. It's too horrific to look in the mirror.
Right, because you could take that negative and turn it into a positive. And I don't understand as adults why that cannot be, why that is not an option. Instead of saying, okay, well, this is how I grew up in life, or this is how I seen my parents do it, or I came from a single parent. So this is the reason why the actions that I'm making as adults is stemming from that. I don't understand how that can be, overlooked and just saying, hey, I want to take that negative if they consider that to be a negative and turn it into a positive. And I don't see a lot of that. I just see blaming, as you're stating at this point.
And the blaming is kind of like, okay, if we're going to talk about it, let's point out our differences. Now that's a conversation. But when you start to point the finger and say that you're doing this and you're doing that, it comes to the point where the conversation says that, okay, you're literally projecting because you don't want to take
Absolutely.
responsibility for what you do. So it's not, see, I don't look at it as one, right? I don't look at it as two. I understand that I came from you. I'm talking to a living God. I understand that I came from you. So it's not that I'm blaming you, but I got to, as your creation, hold you responsible. I have to hold you accountable because the only thing that can talk to you is me. I'm on the outside of you looking at you. So I'm going to sit there and study you. See, you're not studying yourself because you're too busy being yourself. So I'm the one that studies you. I'm your creation. So I give you feedback about you. You can't see yourself when you look out of your eyes. You see the world, but you don't see yourself. So if I run into you, I see you. So I'm going to be able to tell you what you got on your face. If your makeup is messed up, if your hair is out of place, you don't know. You can't see yourself. So you're going to trust me to let you know so you don't be embarrassed. That's the same way that we are as men. We're supposed to get you to see. And that's what I am attempting to do. I have been successful at it, but I'm now again attempting to do it. But I got to do it in a different way because I was very, very masculine in the beginning when I did try to do it. It worked some, but it didn't work effectively like I thought it would be. You know what I mean? So the masculinity in me has to piped down because women have a hard time adjusting to it. And I realize that, and it's because women are sensitive. But that sensitivity in women has to leave them because they're not going to get anywhere being sensitive in this new age. You guys got a battle on your hands. And a lot of you women don't understand that when you cross over from a certain type of instructions, when you women cross over from being oppressed and ruled over, when you cross over from a patriarch to a matriarch, you have to understand that there's going to be a war in order to give you that actual position. Right now, you got to stop denying that you're not at war in the spiritual. This don't even have nothing to do, it hasn't manifested physically yet, but you're at war in the spiritual with your own creation, females. You have to understand this. You cannot go away from this. You cannot deny this. You can look at it from every direction. You are at war spiritually with your own creation.
I don't know. I was just trying to, I'm one that looks at, I'm very spiritual. Let me throw that in there. And so at the end of the day, I mean, I was just trying to get an understanding to what their perspective was, which it just wasn't making any sense to me at all. Yeah, men do contribute to life, but life comes from women, period. I mean, we're the ones that,
Now,
the womb, we provide nutrients, um we provide all of that when the child is in the womb. Men, I'm sorry, when women, excuse me, when when the man fertilized, well, when the egg is fertilized from the sperm, that egg or that sperm is actually a woman before it becomes a man. So I think that's what was trying to be projected or said, and it was just totally taken out of context. So I asked in the comments, I asked, okay, so when you say God, who are you visualizing?
hmm,
And it just was like I wasn't understanding where they were getting. To me, it was coming off that they were saying that the man is God. Without man, there's no life. And I was just totally confused by that. I'm like, okay. And then it just became so one-sided to where, um, like you said, the if they would have listened to understand instead of listening to respond, maybe they would have gained. But to me, it just was like they were just so it's so embedded in their heads that they're not looking to see anything any other way. And how can you not, especially the host, when you say that you're a mother, so you're not giving yourself credit? I mean, I just didn't understand that. I was so confused by like just the thought process.
you
I'm not. I'm
your
sorry.
your confusion is, it has to be understand. You have to switch so that you don't be confused.
No, I'm saying I was confused on their thought process, not what you all was saying. I was totally in
But I'm
agreement
telling
with what you guys are saying.
but I'm telling
Like
you that
confused to the fact of how don't they understand? Maybe I should word it better. Like how
yeah,
are they not understanding what is being said?
right. But I'm telling you that you're gonna have to switch over into their mind frame and their perspective to understand. If you can't do that, then you're going to continue to be confused. They're just coming from a place where this information is new to them, so they're going to reject it off of because you're confusing their program. So you're
No, I
into
completely understand that. What
okay.
I'm saying is that if they took the time to listen, I'm going to say it once again. If they took the time to listen to what was being said
Mm.
instead of listening to respond, then
Yeah,
maybe they could have gained a
I
better
do.
perspective.
I
I
know.
don't
I
believe that
definitely
they were willing
understand.
to do that because of their mind frame.
Right, but I definitely understand. But that mind frame is a mind frame that you have to be able to comprehend so you become superior. So there's no frustration. If you don't comprehend it, then it's gonna be frustration. That's all that I'm saying. I know you get it, but you're saying that, I don't understand why. Because they don't possess the same common sense. They're coming from a book program. You're coming from a natural program
Absolutely.
intellect. So you just result you it's kind of like you're on a different frequency than them. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
And you
most
want to
definitely.
raise them up to your frequency because you care now on the frequency that you're on. But you have to be able to understand that it's not just going to happen like that. You just
But
plant the seed and then you keep
And
it moving.
you
and
you
King
you know
is right.
something though?
King
I
is
feel
right
like
though, because if you to be a, it's like, sorry, it's like a teacher to kindergartners, not to disrespect their intellect, but you can't get frustrated when the kindergartner doesn't know 1 + 1 = 2, right? You have to be to, and I am flawed in that way where I do get frustrated, and it skews my attempt to teach, right? So he's right in understanding their mindset. So if you can simplify it and speak calmly, you can some way penetrate their mind. But if you're just getting frustrated as I do, it gets matched with with aggression as well.
And
So
see, my thing. Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm finished. Go ahead.
My thing is that I feel like in on the frequency that some are on, everybody can't go. So what
Hmm.
I mean by that is that some are just not going to be able to understand where what frequency that some are on. So at the end of the day, I mean, if you're not willing, like I said, or I just I feel like, hey, that's my mindset. Everybody can't go. You can't teach everybody, So if they're unwilling, then let them be unwilling. But I just was totally just like, wow, am I hearing what I'm hearing? That's where I was at with it. Because
And you know
I
what's funny
understand.
about it?
Hold on
It
one
actually
second, Aiden.
proved the
Hold,
point that
hold
we
on.
were making of the
Hold on one second.
sensitivity in men these days, because
right,
all we said was women create life. What
absolutely,
about the man's role? We help. It's like,
absolutely.
and that was the point I
Listen.
was making when I
You got,
said women.
hello,
Everyone has
hello,
their own roles, right?
hello.
I can't. Sorry, go ahead, Kim.
You guys don't become a hypocrite and start doing the same thing that they're doing unconsciously.
In what regard?
And how was that? Yeah.
In regards of, it sounds like you guys are complaining about them complaining.
Right.
No, is it? I don't think it's a complaint on my end. It's just more of a reflection as to what
Okay.
the topic is.
I understand, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, it does not mean when you understand, and I'm trying to get you to understand there's nothing wrong, and we're acting as if something's wrong, especially
Right.
you, Aya,
Right.
when you have been through this multiple times. You
Hmm.
should already know what to expect, what to predict, and how it comes to awaken somebody that sleep. They don't like it. Have you ever been in your bed and you was in a nice dream and somebody woke you up? You get pissed. Nobody likes to be awakened. You see what I'm saying? But when they're up, they're up. They can't go back to sleep. So you guys do your job. Just continue to do your job. But don't act as if you're blind because you know you've ran through this many times.
Right.
You know
and
you've ran
and I
through this.
think they when we were getting frustrated with explaining what complaining is, what I just did was just that. Because when you're just kind of just re-illustrating an issue without a solution, that's because if I was to continue with that conversation, it wasn't building, it wasn't teaching, it was just complaining about them complaining. So that's
Right.
essentially what what the problem is. So I understand what you're saying.
Right. Yeah, Reese, come over here. And I'm not and to the lady at the bottom, I'm not too sure your name because it doesn't show on my screen. I
It's
thank you for
yeah.
coming in. But me and Aya have a different type of relationship over years that we have been, going back and forth, debating, engaging in this now, going back and forth, debating, engaging in this now. Less.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Because I
I had
can't hear
nothing to do
him.
with you. This was. Oh, you guys can't hear me? Oh, I don't know what's going on with my sound.
You were going in
All
and
right, can
out.
you hear me now? Is that a little better?
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right,
we
hear me
can hear
now?
you now.
All right. No, I was just trying to let her know. A lot of some of these women know me for years of teaching and things like that. And I don't want you to get caught up into me speaking to them as if that's pertaining to you. That's all. It just has to be noted. That's all.
Oh no problem at all. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, I was completely in agreement with what you both were stating. Um, and I feel like I came in right on the right at the right time because it just, yeah. That's
That's just
all.
up. So this is what we're gonna do, man. Since we're in here and the people are coming in here, I wanna really get into this topic. You know what I'm saying? And the topic is you know, if anybody can prove me wrong on this app or on the internet that the black woman is not God, you know what I mean? I would love that. But I have not been proven wrong. And it's not an emotional argument, it's a logical one. And if we can get into a logical conversation of how the black woman is not God, then we would have a great time because I don't think that God is unalived. I think God is living and they want to tell us that God is unalive so that we can't see God right in front of our face. So everything that we're living in is to take away from her. Hence the reason why oppression is always centered around the female.
Mhm.
It's always centered around her. In every religion, oppression. In every way of life, in every society, you can go look at it, the woman is oppressed. So if the woman is oppressed worldwide, then we have to look at why. And then you have to understand the ability. If all women in here decided that they did not want to have a child, then what does that do to life?
Completely stops it.
And these are the things that people refuse to actually acknowledge. And then when they do, they get emotional. But this is nothing but logic. This is you trying to come out of a program of thinking. It's kind of like you're trying to leave the matrix, but they don't want you to. They want you to be locked in with belief and unknown and superstition and all of these uncertainties instead of having what's right in front of you. You guys think that I didn't search for God? I did, and I found her. I didn't expect it to be the way. Just like you don't grow up like that. Nobody's telling you that. Nobody's telling you that your mother is your creator, that your mother is your God. That is something that nobody's saying to you. It's like the best kept secret. But when you open your eyes and you look everywhere and then you come back and you be like, hold on, mom, wait a second. I came from her. She created me inside of her. I was attached to her doing umbilical cord. I literally was a baby that needed her. I depended on her. I loved and I feared her. You start matching up, you be like, dang, wait a minute. So God's been alive this whole time in the form of a woman, and somebody didn't let us know. And we can go down all the way, because when I tell you that the woman is God and my God is a female, then they ask you, well, no, it's not. They can't tell you anything to replace that.
Mhm.
They don't have nothing. They don't have a description of their God that they talk about. They don't have a sound of what their God sounds like. They don't have anything to describe their God, to let you know what he looks like, what he walks like. Moses saw him. All these other biblical people saw him. How come none of these new age people don't have the chance to get to see him? They always keep it into a mystery. So we never look at our mothers.
That's
It's
why I
so
always
beautiful
pose
how
that.
such. Sorry, go ahead, Kita.
I was going to say that's why I always pose that question. When you say God, who do you visualize? And I don't get an answer. I never get an
agree.
answer.
That was
Or
a
if
great
you do
question.
get an answer, they try that it tends to lean towards it's a father, it's a man,
It's a man.
and then they'll somehow still say that God doesn't have a gender, but every word that they say is he, father, him.
Right.
So even
And that-
subconsciously, they don't realize what they're saying.
Right, but and the problem is we have too many women still stuck in the mind of Christianity and Jesus as their savior. You see what I mean? So when you're saying that a man is your savior, and you grow up on cartoons that say that you're supposed to be saved by a man, and you grow up thinking that you're supposed to get a husband that's supposed to buy you a house and a car, these are all programs that don't go anywhere with nature. Nature does not program you in that manner. A man does. You see what I mean? Because men are putting these concepts out for rulership. Remember, the mind is all. The first Hermetic principle is the mind is all, and all is the mind. So if they control your mind, then they control your body. Hence the reason why when you women get married, you're property to a man. How could your own creation own you? How can the same thing that you produce own you? Have you ever seen a product in a factory own the factory? You ever see GM produce a car and now the car is the ownership of the GM factory? I want you to be able to understand you women are the blueprint, you are the factory, and you produce us males. And somewhere along the line, they programmed us to think differently. We're still under that program. Logically, you have to think logically, not socially. You see what I mean? It's common sense. And when you bring common sense to a person's mind, there's nothing they can do to deny it. Either you accept it or you continue to be ignorant. That's the only thing, but you will always get defeated in your ignorance. You don't have enough to actually debate with. You don't have enough to conversate or dialogue with. You're ignorant. You see that? So I'm trying to get somebody to know something. You don't have to find God in a book. You can find God in your mother. That's where you came from. You might not like her. Okay, that's fine. But you still came from her. And everything that you do in this life, she is literally responsible for. That's her doing. You don't own nothing in this life. Your mother owned you, so you don't own nothing. She created you. You had nothing to do with your body. Not nothing. Not none of y'all in this room right now had anything to do with your internal makeup nor your physical makeup. Your mother did it all. She gave you your nose, your lips, your ears. And if your mother was on drugs while she was pregnant with you, you could have came out deformed. So she does affect the way that you are. If your mother smoked cigarettes, you could have came out with bronchitis. So she does affect what goes on in your body when she's creating you. So how are you going to tell me that somebody If your father is out there eating, you know what I'm saying, seaweed, how does that affect you as a child in the womb of your mother? It doesn't.
Fact.
So how are you
Doesn't.
sitting here telling me that a man is helping a woman? What way does a man help a woman? There is no sacrifice. When you help somebody, you sacrifice. Where is the sacrifice that a man gives a woman when he's creating a woman? He gets nothing but pleasure. That's an orgasmic organ energy being released into him. That's all it is. He gets pleasure out of being with a woman, but he does not receive any type of pain. So therefore, it does not belong to him. Pleasure and pain must go together to have ownership. You know, you work hard for this actual race and you win the race. The pain was you working hard. The pleasure was you being successful. A woman literally gets pregnant, her body shape shifts. Everything changes in her. Everything. Her whole body, the internal and the outside. She goes through pain on that operating table and she delivers that baby. So that woman sacrificed for that child. She sacrificed. That belongs to her. Anytime you sacrifice for something, you earned it. Anytime something is connected to you, it belongs to you. The baby and the woman are one. How can somebody take that away from her? That the baby and the woman are one. Somebody please explain that to me. When you are attached to an umbilical cord, how could you not say that you and your woman are not one? You and your mother are not one. This is why a man can't tell a woman that she can have a baby or not have a baby. That makes no sense in the world. How could you tell a woman that she can't get rid of something that she doesn't want inside of her? That's her body. So you telling me that trans can go out here and do things to their body, but a woman can't get rid of something that she doesn't want in her body? Do you see how society plays games with y'all? So let's look at natural. Let's look at nature. Let's stop looking at society with these unnatural rules and concepts that don't make any sense. Let's go back to nature. And nature doesn't lie. This is why you cannot defeat her in the debate. I represent nature. The woman is female. Mother Nature is female. So I represent the female. The skin of nature is black. It's brown. It's copper. It's red. So I represent those women. The grass on the ground grows up. So I represent the women with afros. And if anybody can defeat me when it comes to this black woman being God, I am right here and I take all debaters. And I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about intellectuals that can come up with something that can prove that my mother is not my creator. That can prove that the black woman has not always been God, even when she was hidden.
They can bring out every book in the library, every book in the Vatican, every book on this planet. It cannot disprove that Mother Nature and the black woman is not God. There's not been a person on any app and any timeline that can prove that God exists. Outside of opinions and mystical dreams they had, they cannot physically prove that God exists. And if someone can, we would love to see it.
But you can understand that. You women got to understand that the society that you're raising right now is really not a mature society. Do you guys agree that we don't live really in a mature society? Look at the president.
Yeah, we don't.
Right.
We don't.
Absolutely.
I think there's a lack of accountability. I think that there's a lot of instant gratification, which takes away from the hard work of earning something. Just like you say, you sacrifice.
Hold on, Destiny. Let me ask you. Somebody in the comments says God is real. Have you ever said that your mother is real? Anybody in the room, have you ever uttered the words that my mama is real?
Right, no.
No.
She just exists. She just is.
Right? You don't got to prove that, do you? Do you see how they got to reinforce that God is real to everybody in order to reinforce a belief? You never have to prove that your mother is real. And everybody in this room can know that we came from our mamas. See, when a man says that he has something to do with the process, the man doesn't understand that he's carrying his mother in his ball sack. Who else put it in there? She made your ball sack. She made your phallus. She created your lungs and your heart in her womb. How could you take credit for anything that you do on this planet as a male? You're a creation. You cannot give life. You cannot sustain life. If a woman was in a jungle and she happened to pass away after giving birth, then guess what happens? Life is over with for that child. If that child is an infant and that woman just gave birth, life is over with. That man cannot sustain that child. But if that man passes away in the woods and that woman and that child is still there, that woman can nurse that child. That woman can sustain that child. And that woman can give that child a great life, a long life. And that child will protect that woman all its life. Your sons are your protectors. You guys have dropped the ball as females in knowing this. This is why society makes them into your predators. But think about all of you women that got sons. Up until 10 years old, your son would fight for you. Your son would attack anybody over you. Your son did not play about his mama. And then sooner or later, he started to get programmed from men. Men begin to program your children. Men begin to program your sons. And they started to tell your sons who they thought that they should be. But prior to that, naturally, your sons would do everything to protect you. Your sons would do everything to make sure you was okay. They were concerned about you. They looked at you. They loved you. They wanted to make you proud. They wanted their mamas. Mommy, mommy, mommy. That is the most uttered word ever in existence, even more than God. How come they don't say God, 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 God? Why is it always mommy? Shouldn't they utter the word God and God is when they come? No, they utter the word mommy. Why they saying mommy? That's something hereditary in them. That's the real God, mommy. That's the real God. That's the real. It's not God, it's mommy. Mommy, those are the first word. Mama, mommy. Come on, man. Let's stop playing these games. They don't never utter God when they come out of that thing. Never.
Sometimes it's people's first and last words. We've heard people in their last breath talk about their mother.
Man, that is true. But do you understand how they invoke things? So they evoke when George Floyd, what did he say? What did he cry out to? What did they make sure you knew?
Mom.
Exactly. They did that on purpose. That was a ritual. That's why I keep trying to tell y'all, you have to pay attention to these things. The divine feminine is coming back in. They're doing everything to evoke her. This is why they dress those celebrities up in dresses. It has nothing to do with what you think of humiliation. It has everything to do with them understanding what's going on. They don't just do it to the BLK. They do it to the YT celebrities too. So it's not a race thing. It's your understanding that men have to come out of their masculinity in order to allow that woman to become to her throne, to become to her prosperity. The woman is going up, her creation is going back down. The woman is starting to become more superior, so everything will change. Even the books will change. There will be no more Bible soon. The Bible is done. You're trying to hang on to it. There will be no more Bible soon. There's too many people waking up to what's in the Bible that has not been shared. Like female oppression all throughout the Old and New Testament, rules on women of what they can and can't do, how God ordained S.A. He allowed women to get S.A.'d, he ordered women to get S.A.'d, and he literally was despicable when it came to women in the Bible. And you can even go into the Quran 434, where it allows men to put their hands on women or allows the husband to strike his wife. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, but they needed to do that in order to control men to think that they were superior than their own creator.
Totally agree with you, brother.
But if anybody doesn't agree with you, like I said, please somebody prove me wrong. I think a lot of these
You know
men.
what?
Go
There's
ahead.
one in the
You know
comments.
what? Hold on. I wanted to say for the mothers out there who are deficit mothers, what about them? What about the people who gave up their children at birth? The women who suffered and could not be an actual mother. Like they birthed you, but what about the ones who are deliberately bad mothers who would hurt their child?
All right. I'm not too sure if you understand. The actions and the mentality of a woman has nothing to do with a woman being God. It has everything to do with her being the creator. She got that child here. That child can overcome that just like you've overcome struggles in your own life. We've all overcome certain things, but we're still here. And if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be able to actually, witness the perseverance. We wouldn't be able to witness the struggle that leads to success. We wouldn't be able to actually have this breath, have this life, enjoy the things that we enjoy if it wasn't for her bringing us here, if it wasn't for her creating us so we can actually sustain this air that we is. We need these lungs in order to breathe. What I'm trying to explain to you is it's gonna happen. You're gonna have good and evil on both sides. She created it for a reason. One is the opposite of the other so that you can know who you are. Are you that mother? So that mother is needed as an opposite in order to define what type of mother you are. So don't look at it as a bad thing. It's not bad. It's just an opposite. So once you understand the opposite, you begin to more understand yourself. So a woman that's not conducive with her child, she's just the opposite of you. You are conducive with your child. That is your motivation. Now you know what to do opposed to seeing what not to do. So you have to thank that woman as well. And that's what it's talking about, turn the other cheek. God forsake thee, for they don't know what they do.
Can I chime in on this?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
I just wish, you know, people who have these, and I'm not against you before I make my statement. I'm not against nobody on the panel.
Okay.
You know, just my honest opinion. You know, I just wish dudes that had these type of conversation that the black woman is God. I just wish they go ahead and just admit they just want a lot of women, because when you have these conversations,
Oh,
it strokes. Let me finish, brother. It strokes these women ego. That's all they do. Like I wish people would just say they want women. Like real men see through the game. Like men who put women on a pedestal.
No, we're going to
They
keep
just
him.
wanna have sex with a lot of women.
He doesn't need to
That's the
do
thing
all
about
this
it.
to do
really?
And
Hold on,
and
hold
we
on,
talk
hold on,
and we
hold on. I think that
let me just finish.
this is
I
a
just
time
want
to
to finish. This
educate
is my
him.
last point.
Yeah.
So
This is my
let's
last point.
let's work with it.
This is my last point. I'll make this last point. And before I make it, I will ask a question. When we speak about our women, you know, black women having children, what's the whole perspective on that? Is it something like special that, you know, goes on that y'all are saying when she's bringing these children into the world? Like, is that something special or something?
Is this your last statement that you said you were going to make?
Well, I wanted to ask the question before I make the last statement. When we talk about women bearing children.
Well,
Without the woman, without the female tree, there's no fruit. Period.
Okay. Well, just going off that statement alone, I would, you know, say this. And well, first of all, my kids are actually in me before I put them in the woman. That's number one. And number two, the whole black woman is God, and people using her bringing life into the world to kind of emphasize the point. Well, there are more than women that have kids. You know, monkeys have children, right?
oh
You
Lord.
you know animals have kids. They bring life into the world also. So, like I said, the
So do
whole argument is just
trees.
foolish. Go ahead.
No
I'm
male
finished.
tree. No
I'm
male
finished.
tree. No male animal can have a child.
Not
No
respond.
male animal can have a child. No male tree can bear fruit. You know, and no, we don't want. Or
Just,
the truth is the truth, brother. Listen, if
No.
God is a man, I want to meet his mother.
And,
Okay,
and
let's
this is
keep it simple. Let's keep it simple here. Let's not go through all of what you throw your ego, you throw your emotions out the window. Let's look at facts. Can a man physically push out a baby? What comes from your nut
can
sack
can
is not
can
even needed in some
can a
cases.
okay.
can
Hold
a
on. Hold
can
on
a
a second.
watermelon
Hold on a
grow if
second.
you don't put the seed in soil?
Let me
Hold
ask
on
a
a second.
question. So
Hold on a
Hassan,
second.
let's
Hold on a
take
second.
out that
You
the
guys are
fact
not.
about the
You
seed.
guys are disregarding me. You know what I'm saying? I would like to talk. You know what I'm saying? So hold on one second. I got you. I got y'all. And I just want to say this. He made some things, and I want everybody to understand that men think that they are men, and men think that they are needed by women. But women don't need a man. They need the essence that comes out of the man. So that's why you have sperm banks in suburbia. That's why you have these different types of things to say that. So I'm not just talking, I'm telling you. In regards to it, where does it come from? So let's stop talking about men and let's start talking about where the sperm comes from. Because obviously you don't need a man. You can just use the sperm that comes out of the man to procreate yourself or to actually impregnate yourself. This has been done, right? So when men jump into the conversation and act like that they give life and they give something, okay, well, let's look at this. Where did that sperm come from? Did you breathe it in? Did the sperm come from out of the sky? Did the sperm come from some oatmeal that you ate? Where did the sperm come from? Because we know that you had nothing to do with the creation of your body. We all know that the woman created the actual life in her womb. So where did that sperm come from? I mean, the arms came from the womb. The lungs came from the womb. The head came from the womb. I mean, everybody knows that because when you popped out of the womb, you was intact. So if all of this come from the womb, why do you think that the sperm was left out? This is what gets me with you men. You men think that the woman left the sperm out, but she created the balls and the phallus? Why would she create the balls and the phallus and then leave the sperm out, everybody? Does that make any sense to anybody in the room? That would make it doesn't make no sense. She gave you that sperm, and that sperm is not a seed. It is a parasite. It is a cell. It is a tadpole. It is something that comes out of you into a woman to create a spark to literally start life. That is the process of life. It's not something that takes over the woman's body. It's something that the egg absorbs. And then the DNA merges, and then
He
now
did not
you have
interrupt
part
you,
of
sir.
your father and part of your mother. And that's a paternal DNA. But men never like to talk about the most important part of the DNA, which is the mitochondrial DNA that can only be passed down from mother to daughter, seeing that the daughter gives life. It can never be passed down from mother to son because the son does not give birth. So we are a creation. We are a dead egg. We are disposable like worker bees. And it says everything in us because we don't create. We don't have a womb. We don't have a vagina. We can't give birth. That means that we are not comparable to her. We are handicapped. Hence the Y chromosome, sir. The Y chromosome signifies that we are handicapped. It's crazy that men can't use their logic to be able to understand that the Y chromosome is a genetic defect of the X chromosome, meaning that we are not superior than women. It's literally telling you in science. It's letting you know that you cannot menstruate so you don't have the blood of the gods. It's letting you know that you cannot give off breast milk so you don't have the elixir, the liquid gold that sustains the God. All of these things are logical. It has nothing to do with you want to sit here and mock me, talk bad about me, and tell me that men indirectly that honor women is pandering or trying to get a lot of women. Let me explain something to you. If I keep my mouth shut, I'm going to get a lot of women. If I walk into a room,
Regardless.
I'm going to get a lot of women.
Clock
I
it.
don't need to say nothing
Regardless.
to a woman to get a lot of women.
Point
Clock
proven.
it, baby.
Point proven.
Okay,
Just be all
period.
right.
Point proven.
Watch
You
your
know what I'm
Said
mouth.
you know,
Point proven.
regardless.
Point proven. Point proven. I want to be pretty boy that just wants a lot of women.
Oh
Point
my
Now,
proven.
God, bro.
I'm
Like, right. He has nothing to come back
That-
that's
that- that-
educational to
you
even
just stated the
prove that
fact.
what you're saying is
Well,
not fact.
well,
Therefore,
science. Okay,
everything you're
well,
saying is
science
definitely
shows.
fact.
Now you
Science
jealous.
shows.
I'm with the
Science
intellect, not the
shows that a
insults.
woman womb has no life. Science shows
What?
that a sperm science shows that a man is born with his kids in him. Just like just like if I have a watermelon seed, a ground doesn't grow watermelons because of the ground. That seed is what grows in the ground. The woman is only the fertilizer.
That's a lie.
She grows.
Do you believe
she-
what
she
you're
got it
saying right
backwards,
now?
son.
Are you listening to yourself?
a woman grows the seed that a man puts in her.
Boy,
Okay,
If you
so
put
take
an
that out
apple,
of the
if you put an
equation.
apple
Take
seed
that
in the
out of the
ground,
equation.
an apple tree is going to grow.
Take that out
If
of
you
the
put a
equation.
watermelon seed into the ground, a
Take that out of the
watermelon
equation.
is going to grow.
Take that out of the equation.
Any
If
seed
a
you put into the
child
ground.
is born, sir, if a child is born from that seed that you're talking about, and the woman is taken out of it, can you raise that child?
What do you mean a woman's taken out of it?
If
You
a
mean
woman,
after
because you're
the child is
saying that,
born?
hold on, let me finish speaking. Let's be respectful.
I'm saying after birth.
Yeah. So when a woman has
Okay.
this baby, that the baby, right? Can you, as the man, sustain that baby's life without that woman? Why are
But
we mute right now?
even if you go back to
The man and the woman need each other.
No, I'm
even
asking. That's not the question that I'm asking you. What
Okay,
I'm
let me answer.
asking is,
What?
okay, so are you have your listening ears on?
Oh no, somebody else chimed in. I'm trying to answer.
Okay. So my question to you is after that woman has that child, can you, the man, sustain that child's life without the woman?
Yes.
How?
What you mean?
Ask how.
Raising a child, feeding it, nurturing it.
How we're not talking, I'm talking about the baby. We're talking about a baby. So after that woman gives birth to that baby, can you, the man, keep that child alive?
Yes.
Without
How?
chemicals,
You,
without feeding the
you,
child chemicals.
How? I want, yeah, I want him to explain how. That's the point that I'm
you,
getting at. How?
you do know
No, 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 no,
women
no, no,
on
no,
a
no, 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 no,
you
no,
do know
no.
women
Just explain.
unalive
No, 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 no,
at
sir,
birth, right?
sir.
You do know
We're
women
not,
unalive. Some women
sir,
unalive.
sir.
He didn't
Can you
understand the
answer
question.
how? Well, I mean,
Because
I'm
he's
just trying to
not
explain it.
listening. That's
If you're
why.
speaking about
He's listening to
a
respond,
man,
not listening to
a man,
understand.
Sir, we're gonna drop you if you're not gonna have a conversation.
I'm answering the question. 5 people keep chiming in. I'm trying to answer one person's question.
But we've been waiting for 5 minutes, so go ahead and answer the question.
I said a man can nurture.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Hold on, ladies. You already have to remember this is predictable. So at the end of the day, you're expecting something that you might not get. You understand? So you have to know that so you don't become frustrated.
Okay.
People
And
do not
I
want
would
to
like to
manage
chime
logic.
in.
I just don't want you. Hold on, I'm gonna let him speak. He still's got the microphone, but I don't want you guys to get frustrated to the point where you come and it seems like you're badgering. You just understand that he does not want to understand something that's very understandable. That's it. That's all. He just don't want to understand on purpose. This is intentional. So I don't want you to get upset.
Logic.
Don't get frustrated.
But I still would like his response.
Okay.
He's up here
Right.
to,
Okay.
he's up here to have
Okay.
open dialogue, and he should be able to
Okay.
respond.
Come out
Okay.
your feelings.
So if you're saying breastfeed a child, a man cannot breastfeed a child.
That
If
wasn't my
that's what you're
question.
saying.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Well,
you for that.
okay. Well, yes, a
Thank you for
man
that. That
can
was
take care of a
very
child after birth. Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Let
mute
me
up.
ask you, can a man's water break?
A man don't have those tools. A woman has them.
So do you understand how a man can be handicapped? If that is an essential part of life, that a man is actually handicapped. And if you're handicapped, that denotes that you're inferior than somebody that's not handicapped. So the XX chromosome is literally superior than the XY chromosome. The egg is superior than the parasite that you call a sperm. The sperm has nothing to do with a seed. A seed and a sperm are two totally different things. A sperm is
No one has ever
equivalent
called
to
sperm a parasite.
tadpole. A sperm is equivalent to a tadpole. It is not equivalent to a seed. A sperm is a cell. It is a cell. An egg is
A living
literally
organism.
in the shape of a seed. An egg gets passed down from mother to mother to mother to mother like a seed. An egg carries all life in it like a seed. The egg is the seed, not the sperm. Patriarchy literally
That's
oppressed
false. That's false.
matriarchy.
That's false.
No,
Things
That's
that
false.
upside down.
that's true. And can I explain something? Whenever a guy, whenever a
Can,
sperm
can
comes
you give
up,
me a source
whenever
to go look this
sperm.
up? Can I
Okay,
have a
Yes,
hold
source to go
on,
look this
just a
up?
moment.
I can tell you
Let
right
her
now,
finish.
in the
Let the
body,
sister finish.
okay, I can tell you right now,
I,
the body kills off parasites. So when a parasite enter into a woman, her body will reject that parasite that you call a sperm. She will reject it. That's why when a woman gets up, it's always leaking out of her. It will always come out of her because she immediately her body begins
Can
to
I get a
attack it
source?
because it's a
Can I get a
foreign
source?
parasite, and women's bodies attack parasites.
Sir,
and,
Brother,
Google
can I
it.
get a
You don't
source?
want to
but
pick up a
listen
book.
to
Can I
me.
get a
The
source?
egg has the
Can I
choice
get a source,
to
please?
determine
Anybody.
which
Instead of opinions, can I
sperm
get a choice?
I have
Can I get a
sources.
What
source?
kind of
They're
source
right
are
here on
you
the
looking
panel.
for?
I'm
the
sorry,
egg
everybody, but the
chooses which
source.
sperm
Okay,
she
excuse
wants.
me. The sources are right here on the panel. These are women that can tell you what their body goes through. So I don't need nobody else to say it. But these
No,
women are living
no, that's
experiences.
opinions.
They're better
I
than
need a
They're not
source.
people. This
opinions.
is
Sir,
fact.
please
I need a
I'm
source.
right here
finish
with
The
you.
talking.
egg chooses
I'm
which
sitting right here
sperm.
with you. That is the ultimate source. There's no source higher than this woman sitting with you right now. Think about it. It's their body I'm talking about.
A
You want
source.
to go to
A
Google?
source. A woman knows nothing
The
about a
woman is the
sperm
source.
cell. You didn't learn this just by osmosis. I need a source if you have a
Scientific,
source.
Went to
Because
I
you're
school
learned
saying
by
a
for
lot of
it.
scientific
things.
fact
I
You're
learned
saying a
this
that
lot
by
of
egg
things.
has a
I learned
hormone
this
in
by
it.
ejaculating in a woman and watching the sperm come out of her. And I'm like, why didn't it go all in you? Because her body fights it off after I begin to study it. So when you begin to study and become
Where
more
can I read this
intellectual,
knowledge?
you will start
Where
to
did you learn
actually
this from?
understand. Okay, you can
Where
just
did you
put it
learn
in
this
right now.
from?
Listen, let me tell you to go find it right now. Why does the woman's body reject sperm from men? Put that in and see what comes up.
No, you got all the knowledge. Just show me your source. Where did you
Now
learn
you
this
want
from?
me to
That's
work
what
for
I'm
you, so
saying.
you really don't want a
No,
source.
Can I
Listen,
can
and
I
show
listen.
me
can I give him a
Scientific
source?
fact.
Now you becoming
because
defensive
because
now.
it's
Scientific
Source,
fact
because it
please.
that
shows that you're
a
full of it.
female sperm, a female
So
It shows that you're
cell
you
full
can
of
go
it.
look.
These
You
are
can go
defeated
look
tactics.
on
reject
CNN
sperm. Go ahead.
All you have to do, brother, is give
CNN.com.
me a source and not be
A
quiet. Just
He's
give me a
I'm
source,
telling
trying.
you,
brother.
He doesn't want to
CNN,
hear it.
CNNhealth.com. A woman's reproductive tract can weed out unwanted sperm after sex. Studies found. There
Okay.
you go.
I
I'll
didn't
drop
ask for
now.
that. I didn't
You
ask
didn't
for
ask
that.
for that.
That's a
He's calling
source.
sperm
He
Remember,
just
a
don't
wants
get
to
parasite.
argue.
frustrated.
He's
Okay,
Don't
calling
get
here's
sperm
another
a
frustrated.
source.
parasite and
Don't
No,
get
says
I.
that
Where does
frustrated.
his
He
dudes
just
sources
wants
come
to
don't
from?
be in
understand
denial.
like you women
Right.
understand.
I would like
Okay,
to
I
know
need
where
this
his
brother.
sources came
we
Wherever
from.
learned
this
from
brother.
him. What do you mean?
And
I
then
would
on
like to
top
know
of
Okay,
his
that,
so
you're not
sources.
listening.
he
You're
learned
not
from somewhere.
listening. You're just
Wait, one at a
talking.
time.
Here's
One at a
another
time.
here's
So
another
so
source.
if
Can I say
y'all learn
something
from
really
him,
quickly?
wait.
Here's
If you
another
all learn
source, and
from
this is
him,
from
I
News
need his
Medical.
source.
Excuse me, he taught us how to go and find our own sources, okay? So when you look at News Medical, the egg is the one that decides which sperm that she wants to keep and fertilize. Okay, all the rest of them she rejects and she kills them. She gets rid of them from the body. It is the egg. It's the egg's choice, the cell's choice of which sperm. The sperm does not choose anything.
Yes, ma'am.
I
That
would
is a
like to know where he
fact.
gets his source from. Since he's asking for ours, where does he get his source from?
Yeah, because he
You
just
say
wants to argue with
y'all
knowledge. That's
y'all
what he
just
wants.
told me you learned from this brother. I'm asking
I,
this brother
he
because
I
he
taught
did not
us
does
how
agree.
to
things
look
like
for our
call
own
sperm.
sources.
He
I did
calls
not
sperm a
agree.
parasite. That's a spark
It is a
to
parasite.
cause the
And you know
woman
what
to get
happens
pregnant.
whenever I
So
get the
I
wrong
need
type
to
of
know where you
sperm,
got
when a
this
person with
information.
a different
Where
type
did you
of
get
blood
this
type,
information?
Can I
Where
say
it,
did you
it
get
something?
this
attacks
information,
it like
please?
it
This
is
guy,
a
this
I
guy.
parasite.
need
It gets
sources,
rid of it
please.
like
How
the
can I say
body.
something? So
Sir,
what's his name?
stop
Ho,
hollering. Stop
this
hollering over people.
this
Are you
guy.
crazy?
I don't
Just have
understand.
a
This guy is supposed to
conversation.
be a
Are
Three
you
grown
three
okay?
people
man.
are talking at one
Okay,
time. Three
guys.
people are talking at one
But
Okay.
when
time.
one person is trying to
Respect.
answer, you're talking and yelling over them, repeat.
I'm trying to
Guys,
understand that
okay.
this guy is a
Hold on,
grown
hold on,
man and
hold
he's
on,
another
hold
Okay,
on,
guy
hold
so
that's
on.
let
telling you
me
something.
These are
explain.
the grown men
Let
that
me
they expect us
explain
to lead
why.
after.
Hold on, everybody.
They
Hold on,
expect to
everybody.
lead.
What do you have
Hold on.
against women, homie?
Hold
What do
on,
you have
everybody.
against women?
Hold
I don't
on.
have nothing against
I'm
women.
trying to
I
meet
love my
all of
black
you
sisters.
guys. I'm trying to get you guys to just hold on a second. We should be able to have a conversation, okay? If you hear somebody talking, then please ask them if you can talk when they get done. Just ask the person that's talking, can you talk when they finish? I guarantee it would change everything. All right? No emotions up here, all logical. If we keep logic and none personal, we'll be fine with the conversation. But when we add emotions and energy to this, it's going to always go left. If y'all want to continue to have this conversation, it has to be about intellect and no emotions. All right, let's get back to it. I think it's a great conversation because it puts you women in an intellectual superiority to the point where these men can't deny anything. They cannot deny who you are, women. If you know who you are, they cannot reject it. They can't. I promise you, they won't be able to reject it. What could they say? The only thing they could do is continue to get more frustrated like they are, that you're awakening to who you are. That's why men are frustrated. You're not frustrated. Women are not running here making posts about men. Women are not out here saying this and that. Women are not doing anything. The woman is perfectly fine. She's focused. The man is unfocused because he's distracted by his jealousy and envy of the woman now. He's mad that he cannot control her. Why would you want to control your mother when your mother is the one that's always been in control? So that's the whole thing, that every man is mad that they can't control women. Why does a woman need to be controlled is the question. That's where we should be at. Why do we need to control women as men? Why do we need to oppress them? Why do we need to degrade them? Why do we need to let them know that they're nothing but inferior and at the bottom of our feet? Why? Because life doesn't denote that. There is nothing nature that says that in any
Who
way.
says all that?
Society. We got to be real. So we're fighting nature versus society. If they don't match up, then something is wrong. Something is wrong. That means that nature is not, reality is not reality. It's an illusion that they program us with. Nature doesn't change. The female has not changed in nature. She is still the protector and the provider over her offsprings. Now that a woman doesn't want a man hovering over her, controlling her, all the men are mad. But the woman is still have to be a mother. Even when a man is mad, she still got to be a mama. Even when a man is sad, she still got to be a mama. Even when a man is happy and joyous, she still got to be a mama. Even when the man don't want to be a father, she still got to be a mama, because that's
There you
natural.
go.
It comes natural to every woman to be a mother. It is natural. Some women are miserable, so they might be a bad mama. Okay. She's just going through something. Trauma happened. She's bad not just to the child, she's bad to everybody, but they just want to focus on the child. You know what I'm saying? She's just a disturbed woman. It happens. People go through mental crises. But you cannot sit here and compare a mother to a father, knowing that it is unnatural for a man to be a father. That's unnatural. You don't see a father nowhere in nature. It is unnatural. What is natural is that a man protects the
Are you a
woman.
father? Are you a father?
Hold on a second, sir. What is natural that a man protects the female while she raises and protects and provides for the child. That's the natural part. The woman is natural in her protection and providing for her offsprings. That's why they do it so easy. That's why they do it so easy. Look how easy she does it. Look how easy she can work as a cashier without nobody judging her. Men are prideful when they got to work at Little Caesars. A woman don't care as long as her child is being fed, she's good. That's why they okay with living paycheck to paycheck. That's why they okay. That's why they only want stability so they can sustain their child. She's Mother Nature. She's Mother Nature. She does everything that Mother Nature does, and nobody in here can deny it. She gives without asking for anything back in return. She don't ask her children for nothing back. She don't ask you. Your mama ain't never asked you for nothing back in this life. Mother Nature ain't never asked you for that apple back. Never asked you for that tree back, that air back, that earth back, that water back. So she gives without expecting anything back in return. How many of you women asked your child for your breast milk back? Your infant milk back?
What world you live? What world do you
How
live
many of
in?
you women asked your child for your breast milk back? You've never done
The
that.
real
What
world.
world do you live
I'm
in,
just
brother?
matching her up.
The real
You,
world.
you,
Go
what,
ahead.
what? You mean what? 20 million abortions happen with black women? Is that the word you're talking about?
Oh,
What
she,
world do we come from
oh, she's
to
the
where
creator
our
and the
women
destroyer.
Who
are
made
just
that
so
up?
holy and godly?
She's the generator,
Just
Who
so
made the
holy and
operator, and
abortion?
godly.
destroyer.
What world do we come from?
Well,
It's her
which one?
choice.
All I
What
know
does that
is,
have to do with
all,
anything?
all,
That
Yeah,
has
but
all I
are
know
we
is,
welfare?
all I
No,
know
Or
is,
are we
women. Hold on,
all I
everybody.
know is
Hold on,
the
everybody.
women,
Hold on a second.
the
Hold on. Let me
women,
say this.
the
Let me say
women that
this
are
so I don't
being
have to
called
mute.
God,
Let me say this so I
they're
don't
the
have to
most
mute you.
degenerate on the.
Let me say this so I don't have to mute you. I didn't want to mute you, but when you men sit here and take responsibilities for having babies in you and saying that you give the woman life and you got a baby in your ball sack, then you men that masturbate are committing way more abortions than these women. Because every time you would masturbate, you're killing your babies. So at the end of the day, I want you to take responsibility for abortion since you're carrying life in your ball sack and that sperm got a heartbeat. Go ahead. It's your turn. You can talk now. Go ahead, because y'all men can't say nothing about it. If y'all gonna take responsibility for carrying life, then every time you masturbate and you ejaculate on something, then at the end of the day, that's the real abortion. So stop saying that if you don't want to take that accountability. You men are killing our children out here, and it's sad. Stop unaliving us by SAing yourself. Yeah, let's get into it.
He's speaking facts because I don't know what the other men talk about. He sound real ignorant.
And don't that sound real silly too? That's how they sound when they try to take responsibility for formulating the fashion and the
No,
baby
he's
inside of
gone.
them.
He's gone.
He probably
He
gonna
should.
come back.
He should feel he should feel embarrassed of his
They
manhood.
always run.
And
Lady,
she's the
can
type
I
of men
get
out
you
here
Same,
they claim they want us to
same way
lead.
to do the
They want to
babies.
lead.
Same way to
Can
do
I
the
get you to
babies. They
tap the
run.
screen, ladies? Tap, tap, tap. Share the live with a man that you know who needs to hear this information. Send a rose if you can as well.
This is sad.
It's not. Don't look at it like it's sad. It's an awakening.
It's not. It's not sad.
Go
It's just that he's
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's
Right.
sad
exactly.
for those.
It's
It's
sad that
sad for those that don't know.
he
It's
lacks
sad for
knowledge
those
of a
that do not have
woman. A
the
man's
knowledge
supposed to
to
understand a
know who's
woman
who and
and
what's
know a
what.
woman, no matter what race it is. He's supposed to understand that woman. And for him to come on here and say the things that he say, he make himself sound so ignorant.
Well, we passed that. Let's keep moving on. Let's keep it
Well,
positive. Keep it
all the,
moving on.
hold on a
You
second. Let
know,
me say something.
because a
To
lot
all
of
of
men are
y'all in
going to be
here,
that way
I'm about
because
to
they've been
publish
brought
this
up
and
that
put
way.
this
They
out
think
there.
that.
This is the Black Woman is God. It tells you about all of the things that support you being God. everything that can reproduce on their own without a mate, 65,000 species in nature. These are the glands that produce sperm and seminal fluids in a woman. You can go and look at yourself and find these things out. These are the things that have already parthenogenesis. That is the ability of the female to produce without a male. And this is why you have the black Madonna and son, never the daughter, because the woman reincarnates herself in her daughter. She creates her opposite in her son. This is how the woman works. This is why there was never a trinity, women. It was always the duality. You understand? They added the trinity when they actually try to add the father. So when you guys look at this, y'all can go look at the Amazon and Dahomey, and this is equivalent to Khalifa. A lot of y'all don't know about the Amazons in California when Khalifa was in rulership, and they talk about the Wicked Witch of the West. That was the one that was controlling America. You can go talk about the rise of the black woman. You can see it happening right now. You can open this book and learn about colostrum. This is the yellow liquid that's a superfood that literally helps your child's immune system to the point where they don't get sick. They need this from you, and they take it when you're delivering. That's why they make you breast milk, give your breast milk so they can take your colostrum. Find out about this if you don't know about it. It's natural. It's always in you women right before you give birth. This is colostrum. This is what comes out of your breast milk. This is a superfood for your children so they don't get sick. They take it and then they bottle it and then they sell it. Go check that out. We got the blood of the gods, which is your menstrual blood that they lie about. Your menstrual blood is needed to create life. You women are the ones that give off the blood, and the child don't listen to nobody tell you different. Men don't ejaculate blood in you. I'm tired of them lying and people literally not using common sense. If you women get a period every month, then why for 9 months you didn't get a period when you was pregnant? Because you was using that blood in order to coagulate life and literally create and fashion life within your womb. Think about it. You are the bloods. That's the blood of the gods. So you can get this book. I'm going to put it out, Mother Nature. It talks about the patriarch. And this first page is literally letting you know that the highest religious figure that we have on the planet, which is called the Pope, is always honoring you, always giving homage to you, always praying to you. You can go look it up for yourself. The Pope worships the black woman as God. How come we don't? How come we don't? Don't make the mistake. That's all that I'm saying. Don't make that mistake. Yeah. I'm gonna put this out there. I'm gonna publish it. You'll be able to
You
get
putting
it
it on Amazon?
I appreciate you. Not yet. It will go out. It will go out soon within the next month. So I'm just letting y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for the motivation. But I'm adding way more to this. I'm gonna actually. This is gonna be the revised version. You see what I'm saying? Right. So I appreciate y'all. But when y'all get this, man, definitely.
Great.
You
Keep
cannot
up the good
deny
work.
the information that I'm giving you.
Facts.
It can't be
Facts.
denied.
Facts.
There's nobody that
I
can
heard
deny
somebody
it.
say yesterday. I wanted to ask you about this because I was having a conversation yesterday, and a guy came into the loft, and we were having a similar conversation. And he tried to sneak it in, and I backed him up. But what he said was that the what do you call it? The placenta is actually made from the sperm. So essentially, what he was trying to say was that we're equal. That what he was doing math and science equations to try to basically say that we're equal because the placenta, now the afterbirth, is shaped like the sperm, and that it is actually developed from the sperm. So I
Okay,
want to.
do you know man was lying in Genesis?
No, I mean, what do you mean? Yeah.
That even in the book of Genesis, men were lying.
Yeah,
So if y'all
yeah.
expect him to tell the truth in today's age, you gotta lie in order to oppress. If
The
you tell
sperm
the
is
truth, there's no
absorbed.
oppression. If you tell the truth, there is no oppression.
Right.
The only way that you can oppress is by lying, deceiving, manipulating, and literally brutally attacking. So if you tell them the truth, there is no oppression. So they have to continue to tell you things that are illogical. It's
Yeah,
illogical.
that's
It
crazy,
doesn't even
right?
make sense.
I
Right.
said, wait till I asked King Knowledge about it because I'd never heard that
Exactly.
before. So yeah.
Yeah. It's a fact. They blame. That's why they blame everything on the woman, from biting the
It's
apple and messing
justified.
the whole world up. That's why they have the woman covering her hair, covering her nails. They don't want them. They don't. The woman doesn't. Her hair is antennas. They're covering her up. They're covering every little bit of her that they can cover up. They're covering up worse than Watergate. Okay. I say this to people. They look at me like I'm crazy, but I've been told I'm crazy. That's why I know I'm right all my life. So You know, and it's so logical. It's just logical. It's just like this heaven and hell. The only heaven you're gonna get is when you're in your mama's
Right.
womb. Now, when you come out, I don't know.
But
I don't know what's
what
happening
I
after
will
that.
say is,
That's my point.
you know, the only way that you can know God is to know God. And the only person that you know in this life is your mother. We're not talking about her character. We're talking about you lived in her. So you know her. That is an experience that nobody can deny.
Exactly.
When you experience something, that is knowledge. You got to understand you went through that experience.
That's
You
your
guys have
DNA.
never went through the experience or being with God, hearing God, walking with God, chopping it up, or even seeing God or giving a description of God. None of you guys have never been through that experience, so you know that's a program. But when it comes to your mother, that was the first entity or anything that you've
Mm-hmm.
ever known. That is your beginning, that is your origin, and nobody can take that away from her. Nobody can take that away from her. You cannot take the mother away. It's impossible. She is who she is. Our mother, who art in heaven, hallowed be her name. Her kingdom come. Her will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Forgive us this day our transgressions as we forgive those who transgress against us. We appreciate you, great mother. Ashe.
Yes, yes, we do. Those of us that do know and have the mindset of as
Right.
real men, just because you're male doesn't make you a man. So
Somebody in the
understand
comments
that.
says I gotta
And
be a Jew. Somebody in the comments says I gotta be a
got a lot
Jew.
of people walking around
How
hypnotized.
men run from truth. See, men will say something in the comments, but when they get on this panel, they got their tongue choked up.
Yeah.
Like I said, at the end of the day, if anybody wants to debate me, I'm here to
Yeah.
debate. It
Cyber
doesn't matter, male
cyber
or woman.
gangsters.
It does not matter who you are. I've been doing this forever, and I've never lost a debate. So my God versus your God. I can prove my God. She's right here with me. She can talk if she wants to. They have showed you that they're God by giving birth. So prove your God. See what I'm saying? Prove your God.
Well, speaking of that,
Exactly.
I invited you up, Buddha, because I saw
There you
you
go.
saying something in the comments. So would you like to add anything?
Yes, indeed. None have experienced God in the flesh, and that's not true. That's not true.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this. Can everybody turn their Bible verses to Jeremiah 44:17, where it speaks about the Queen of Heaven, where it talks about the woman sits on the throne of heaven? I mean, wouldn't that be equivalent to God? The Bible tells you that. That's a male-written biblical book. Jeremiah 44:17 speaks about prior to the male God, everybody worshiped the female God, and everything was good. Everything was great. They burned incense to her, they gave her offerings, and she was the queen of heaven. Can you explain why that's written in the Bible? Jeremiah 44:17? You can go and read it and tell me what that means.
Yeah, go look it up.
Kind of like some things you just can't deny.
Prove it.
Like,
Prove
how
it.
did God need
Can't.
Mary and Mary never needed God? Why didn't God just make Jesus without a woman? How did the Catholic Church create Christianity, and in the Catholic Church they pray to the woman instead of the son?
You want me to read the Jeremiah 44:17?
Please do. I appreciate it as my Israelite, anti-Israelite sister. She's an anti-Israelite, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, my anti-Israelite sister. Can you please read Jeremiah 44:17 for the people?
Okay. We will certainly do everything
Please.
we
Please.
said we would. We will burn incense to the Queen of
To
Heaven,
the who? To the who?
Queen of Heaven, and we will
To the
pour out
queen of
drink
who?
offerings to her,
To the queen of who?
Queen of Heaven.
And they will do what to the queen of heaven? They will burn what? They will burn what?
Burn incense and pour out drink offerings for her.
Now, let me ask you something. Let me ask everybody in the room. As indigenous people in America, do we not burn incense? Do we not pour out drinks to our deceased ancestors? Thank you.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you see anybody else pouring out a little liquor?
Every time the
Pour out a
bottle
little
crack.
liquor.
Every
Do you
time the
see
bottle
anybody
crack.
else pouring out liquor and burning incense other than us? Thank you. That's all that I'm telling my people. Thank
And
you.
that exact
It's in our
chapter,
DNA.
that
It
exact
was
verse.
written. It's in our DNA. We're never going to be able to stop. That's why they want to mix us up to try to take what's in our DNA. DNA is information. Don't ever forget that. We activate at a certain point in our lives. And we have reached that point of activation. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 40.
Jeremiah 44
what?
17.
Jeremiah
44 17.
44 what? Okay. See, I thank you very much for that, because I'm a factor. You know, I like to shut them down. You know what I mean? Because everything I ask them, they can't explain, but they want to ask me
If
questions.
you
So I
go
gotta
on
go
to
back up now.
19,
Thanks for the back
you
up.
know, the women were talking as well, and they were talking about when we did burned our incense to the Queen of Heaven and poured out our drink offerings. Did not our husbands know that we were making cakes impressed with her image and pouring out drink offerings to her? So they were saying it then again too. It's like our husbands knew about it. Our husbands, like, we honored her. We did all this thing.
So, Buddha, what do you think?
Great.
Well, I recently found out that on my dad's side, I'm Arawak Indian, and so that's a Haitian bloodline right there.
Okay.
And on my mom's side, I know for sure that when they came out of Mississippi, they didn't just come from Mississippi; they came from Arizona. So I know for sure that on my dad's side, they're in Taino bloodline, and Arawak is Taino. Boom. There is a mother goddess. Period. And she has a son, but he's in the ocean. So
So, do you subscribe to that?
I subscribe to the mother goddess. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because it didn't sound like that in the comments, but I'm glad you had a change of heart.
Well, I subscribe to the mother goddess because that's where I began. I began with Bast of Egypt. Then, she opened up the gates for me to go everywhere else I needed to go. Can I say it like that? I didn't know who I was when I started out, but I knew that I knew something.
I wanted to say something about, like, I know somebody said something about the placenta earlier, about the male contributing to the placenta and everything.
Oh yeah.
So like when I was researching it, just some, get some facts on that. And depending on when you're looking at the resources and everything, depending on which college it is, says something different. So that's another thing that you'll have to look up and see. So one college teaches one thing and one college teaches another. So that'll be one thing that you'll have to figure out.
James Version.
That makes sense. Yeah, I had never heard that before. I was wondering where he'd even gotten that from.
Well, a lot of people just go on what they think they know, and they haven't done their full research. There's a lot of laziness going on. Research never ends. It's always beginning, but it never ends. And then the thing about it is, it's just so logical. A man is not pushing out no baby. It's that simple. A female tree is bearing fruit. A male tree will not. That's it. What more to be? What male tree is bearing fruit? A male tree will not. That's it. What more to be? What back?
Indeed.
And that's it. It's just like Christian people can't answer certain questions. It's so logical. Come on, man. Your only son, your only daughter, whatever, you're gonna watch them. You're gonna watch them get persecuted. If you leave the devil to run rampant, come on, man. Come on, man. Let's use logic here. Let's use logic here. It's so simple. Why they blame everything on the woman? Till today, they blame the men are blaming the women. The women are blaming the men because they have no mindset, no knowledge of who they actually are. The power within them as an individual.
That's fair.
I mean, from a child, you have spoke things into existence. Could you imagine if you just imagine if all the women on this earth knew that they are the God of all gods? Whoa. But as you can see, the powers to be have made it so and retrained the minds, repainted everything to think that the man is superior. They did it to their own women. White women didn't. The white woman didn't have the right to just vote or go to school or do whatever. She had to go through it too because they knew where the power came from and where it still relies on till today. It's so simple, but the simplest things in life are the hardest to acknowledge, even if it's about yourself.
Look, I'm inviting you guys up. Don't twerk in the comments. It's so unattractive. Come on up and say it with your chest.
Yeah, there was one person in the comments that said that their God is the only one and true God, but Jesus is the only God. First of all, Jesus never said he was a God, and second of all, the first commandment is thou shalt not worship any other gods before me. So why would he or she state that if there weren't other gods? Just saying.
See, understand, this is where we have to, those of us that are chosen to have knowledge of self, okay? We are taught to believe everything outside of ourselves so we won't look within, so we won't tap into that power. There's some supernatural powers in each and every one of us, but if you don't tap into it, you'll never acknowledge it. I mean, I have done some things that's just like scared me, like, oh, and then I thought that was just the waves of how the water was going, and I did it again, and it frustrated me to a point to where I was like, no, this can't be real. I don't have that. I started doubting myself, and once you start to self-doubt, what sets in? The spirit of self-doubt. Then after I rise and sat back on the throne, wow, supernatural. Tap into yourself, the power that you have. You can elevate it just as well as you can do anything you want to do, and you have the power within you to do it. Just tap in. That's all I can say.
Well, Tammy, I'm trying to figure out what you mean. And the topic is that the black woman is God. And you're not talking, not you, sweetie, talking into the comments. I was trying to get her to come up, but the topic is that the black woman is God. So it seems like you keep saying you're mixed, and being mixed is not different than it. So it seems like that's what you're referring to. I would love for you to come up so that we can talk about it. Because we can't talk about it in the comments. But if you're being passive aggressive, just making random comments about being mixed and your mom is this and that, it's like, she's still a woman and she's still special and we still validate her, but we're going to tell the truth over here.
Most definitely. The truth will set you free.
Because for sure, Puerto Ricans come from the Arawak. If you say you're a Taino, that's for sure. Jamaican.